Alright, so this is the video where we finish leveling the bed, and then if we got time, maybe I'll go rummaging around the loft and see if I can find any of the patterns for the frames for the Alpha Dory that I'm making. So last video I was just getting the bed ready to screw down to the shop floor. So I finished nailing the side rails into the new feet that I put on it. And yeah, that's pretty much the first step in building an Alpha Dory, is just getting the building bed ready to go. This thing's been outside for 6 or 8 years, so I had to replace the feet. They're starting to rot. The rest of it's in pretty good shape, so should be fine. Typically these things would be out of the weather all the time, but if I want to roll a boat in here or do anything in here, I got to move this out of the way, unless I'm building a boat. So it's been outside under the trees for a while. So I'm just using the level to get this building bed completely leveled up, so that when I go to build the boat, I'll be able to keep the boat level. I can use a level to put on planks on one side of the boat, and then you can just use a level to find the height of the plank on the other side of the boat. You don't have to measure stuff, and what if the angles aren't exactly the same, and the measuring, it's got to be super precise if you're going to do as good a job as the level is of finding the height, for the next plank. Top edge of each plank, you can level it off of the you put one plank on, put a straight edge with a level on it across, and then just mark where it comes on the frame, and that's where your next your plank on the other side is gonna land. So makes planking a lot easier. Yeah, not as big a deal back here. Pretty close. Gotta measure it with some weight on it, because that's how it's gonna be. Yeah. Alright. And then these ones gonna go under the bow here, and under the bed. Yeah, so typically in a Dory shop, these would be in a bigger Dory shop that's got some more room where you're not trying to do other stuff. These would be permanently nailed to the floor. So I use screws so I can take it out and put it back in again when I need. I've actually had it nailed down before. You know, the nails come out, but eventually you're just gonna put so many holes in the floor right beside each other where you keep nailing the bed in and then pulling it out and nailing it in that the screws do a lot less damage going in and you know, come out a little bit easier too. So don't have to use as big a screw either to get close to the holding power of a nail, so it's a lot easier on the wood that way. Yeah, so here's the front end. I just put the the shingle in there. Yeah, so it's pretty important, especially when you're building something like an Alpha 21 feet, that this bed gets leveled really well and then screwed down well so that the bed doesn't move when you're working on the boat, because if the bed moves, then it's gonna the stem and the stern are screwed to the walls of the shop. So if the bed moves, then that's gonna torque the stem and the stern, and that'll give you a boat that would be out of shape. I mean, it's never happened to me, thankfully, but I wouldn't want it to either. And yeah, the fact that the bed's level helps you really get those planks on so that it's fair when you look at the boat from the bow or the stern. You know, one plank isn't higher than another plank, and you know, the height of the planking, the plank lapse doesn't really, it's not going to make the boat perform perceptibly differently. You know, the boat will still pretty much sail the same on the same tack, as long as you get similar amount of shape to either side of the boat. But it just, you know, it looks nice. Boats are as much a expression of art as they are a practical tool, especially these days. So, you know, we want it to look good. Yeah, just trying to snug these screws up without going crazy on them. When I drive the screw in, it's also capturing the shingle that's in there as a as a wedge. So those should stay in place during the course of the build. I'm putting the screw right through the foot of the bed and right through the shingle and then into the floor. So that's a big part of having a wooden floor in the shop. You know, you can't do this sort of thing with a concrete floor. Alright, and then I got two a little bit larger screws for the bow section here. Yeah, I'm going to put them right down through the old nail holes. There she goes. There she goes. So yeah, that's that. Got the bed screwed down and yeah, pretty much ready to build on. Okay, so yeah, as promised, let's have a look up in the loft. See what we can find for patterns and whatnot. You can see a couple patterns up there. Actually, this piece of wood on the north wall is actually a pattern for the garboard plank and first plank of the Alpha. So you can see the garboard is the negative space that runs along the bottom of that pattern, and then the first plank is the top of that pattern. Top edge of the first plank, bottom edge of the second plank. The top edge of the garboard is, I believe it's straight. That's gotta be, if that's the top edge of the first plank. So anyway, yeah, we'll see if we can get up into the loft. I'm gonna have to move some clamps out of the way first, I think. So yeah, I actually got quite a few clamps to move, so we'll see. Maybe we'll have to save that for the next video because running out of time here. I'm almost at 16 minutes. But anyway, yeah, so this is the first plank, and this edge here, this bottom edge here is what will is the shape of the bottom where the first plank hits it. So actually I can see a piece of a pattern right there. Yoink. I'm not sure if this might be a pattern for the duck punt though. Duck punt pattern maybe. Looks like there's some mouse poop on there. Yeah, this is a duck punt pattern. I built a one of these West Mersa duck punts with a buddy of mine. Gosh, probably 10 years ago now. So that's what that is. That's the bottom of the duck punt. The actually, what's this one here? This might be the alpha right here. This is the bottom. Yeah, this is the bottom pattern for the stern, I believe, of the alpha. Yeah, I can see the pattern for the bow too up there. Yeah, so this has yeah, I can just take this down without knocking the light down, hopefully. So this is half of the bottom, and it's got some marks on it where the frames and the bottom cleats are, but pretty much it's just the bottom shape. And yeah, this will be a bit of a help once I get the bottom put together, but it's not really going to help me out with the frames, and those are the patterns I got to look for up here. So yeah, definitely next video we'll have a look up in the loft and see what's up there, and maybe check out some of the other patterns that I've got around the shop. Anyway, catch you later.